guys, welcome back to another episode on the Lawn Lover channel. Wanted to come in with a update on the Rake-N-Stripe. As you know, I purchased this and installed it before the season started. I'll link that video in one of the corners here. So be sure to check that out if you haven't already seen that video. Check out what the product is, how I installed it, and kind of the specifics, but I wanted to give you all an update on how this thing worked. So stay tuned. So I used this first off when I did my first couple spring mows this year. The thing worked great, I would say, after the post-winter, coming out of winter, had all the brown stuff and everything matted down from the snow. I usually do a rake out of the yard anyway, but this thing did a great job of picking the grass up, standing it up, and getting me a nice even cut after the winter. Now I will say one other thing that I like about this is that it can flip up. So what I did is I just took a bungee cord and hooked that on. So when I don't want to use it, I just strap it up. It's out of the way. It doesn't stick out very far. And then in spots I do want to use it, it just flips easily down like that. Worked fantastic for what I needed it for. And overall, I liked it from that aspect. Now I will emphasize here, this is not a Dethatcher. So if that's your goal with this product, I wouldn't buy it. I'd get you more of an actual Dethatcher. The goal of this product is technically to stripe your grass. I'll show you some video clips here. It did an okay job of picking the grass up and striping it, but nowhere near the stripes that a striping kit, either a DIY one or one that you purchase, would do on your lawn. So if you're looking at something like this for striping, I would not recommend this solely for striping. I would get you a striping kit or make one. But for what I needed it for, to pick up the grass and give me a nicer cut, and I do couple this with the striper. So in areas I want to stripe, I'll flip this thing down and stripe it along, so it'll pick it up, and it actually will stripe it better as a complement to the striper, but solely on its own, I wouldn't call this thing a striper. Now if you have any kind of uneven turf or yard in your yard, hills, bumps, or anything, this thing did not do very good on those areas. Now I have a couple hills in my backyard, and I will say it tore up some of the good grass. So I don't use it often. I use it out front when I want to stripe. I'll lay it down in the flat areas and pick up that grass and get a nicer even cut. But like I said, anything uneven, I did notice some issues with it pulling up grass or getting caught on uneven surfaces. So be wary of that if you decide to buy something like this. That was one drawback of this product that I did notice in using it. One other thing I wish that they would fix on this, or make it better, that could make it better, would be making the tines adjustable. So the tines are basically to be set 1 inch off of the ground on an even surface. So when I installed that, as you'll see if you watch the installation video, I took a tape measure, put it in my garage on a flat floor, and made sure they were 1 inch above the surface. I wish you could take it a little higher, because when you're mowing higher turf in the summer, it'd be nice to kind of get the grass to stand up but not pull stuff out. So if they made tines that went with this where you could adjust them, they're basically a one set notch. So I mean, you can't really move the bolt up and down, which you can see here. I'll show you a little clip of that, or a photo, but you can't really move them up and down. So when the turf gets really thick and lush this summer and later spring, it's going to be tough to use something like this on the lawn. I would say this is more of a spring, fall type attachment that you're going to love in those times of year, but in the summer, especially when your turf's under stress, you're not going to want to use this thing at all. It's just going to tear your yard up. Now I will say they do make this adjustable with the Allen wrench to where it can go up, but I have it at the highest setting. So that's why I said, if you see these tines, if I can flip this thing down while holding the camera. So if you can see these tines, I mean, they're basically to where you can only get them at one level. Because if you go any higher on these tines, it's not going to hold, and they're just going to pop off. So that's why I said, maybe I'll come in and either grind these off or clip them off with some wire cutters, make them smaller because I'm at the highest setting there is, and then I'll still have room to move this up and down, which would make this machine or this piece of equipment that mounts to the Time Master better in my opinion and worth the purchase. So I would say overall this was an okay piece of equipment. After I made the adjustments, I used like I put in the comments, I used the cutoff wheel on my cordless grinder, and I nipped off about 1/2 inch of each tine. That way at the highest setting I wasn't going so low into the grass, but it still gave me the freedom to adjust it with those little Allen bolts where I can move the wheel up and get lower when I want to in the spring or in the fall if I really want to get any thatch or anything out of the yard, like a spring cleanup like I showed you earlier in the video. So after the adjustment, I would buy this again. I thought it's great. I do like the fact that since I mow my grass higher, I have tall fescue grass, so I tend to mow it higher. And I've noticed over time that sometimes it'll lay down. So this kind of does a great job after I cut it off and made the modification of picking up the grass and getting me a nice even cut, and then running the striper behind it. I have the striping kit. Did a great job of really laying the stripes with that nice even cut. I don't have straggler grass anymore. It did great. So like I said, I would recommend it. I would buy it again. And overall, I'm pleased with the purchase. I really appreciate you watching this review video. If you like it, please hit that thumbs up button, hit subscribe. We'll be doing more product reviews as I use these products that I picked up over the winter into the spring and summer months. As I get time, I'll do more reviews as I get some more use out of them. So if you hit that subscribe button, you'll see those. You won't miss them. I really appreciate you watching. Stay tuned for the next video, and I'll see you out in the lawn.